what an historic week in Washington and on Wall Street. Not quite the inauguration rally many were hoping for. So what are investors telling us about our new president? That's next. So in Washington, in Wall Street, what can I say but what a week. On Tuesday, the Dow's worst sell-off in history for an inaugural day. On Wednesday, U-turn, stocks soar, and back in the red Thursday and Friday. So what's Wall Street telling us about our new president? Gary B.
It's worried. And it's confused, and I might as well throw in dazed. You know, President, I think the honeymoon is over. At least it's over in my book.
Oh, boy, you got there.
Yeah, it was
4 days. That's a long
48 hours I gave him. Look, he talks well. He sounds great. He looks splendid. But I'll tell you what, so far, all we've seen is hot air that may or may not come true. You said it in the opening. 4 million jobs, 5 million jobs, 50 million jobs, $1 trillion here. The market has no idea what's going on. And frankly, although Obama sounds good, I don't think he does either.
I don't know, Pat. I mean, he wants to spend a lot of money. And short term, Wall Street should like that.
Well, you know, the liquidity that's flooding the system right now should have some kind of a positive effect sooner or later. But I think the ups and downs of this week, frankly, reflect the uncertainty that's in the market right now, which would exist whoever was in the White House, because we haven't been here before since the 1930s. This is the worst economic crisis we've been in quite some time, and nobody really has any good ideas on what to do with it. And to expect, you know, this brilliant plan to come out in the first 72 hours that the guy's in office, I'm not sure who was expecting that.
Well, we've got a plan, Toby.
Well, you know, this is a vamping plan, number one. And number two, it makes everybody nervous when we hear, you know, 50 of the smartest academics in America have given us this plan, which is essentially what we've heard, right? But also, you know, the investors here looked over to Europe and saw that in Britain they were nationalizing banks, and their currency went down 30%. One of their banks went down 95% in a day, and people said, geez, if that's what nationalizing banks does, I'm out of here.
Eric, what's it say?
Right. You got to cut them a little bit of slack on Tuesday. Don't forget, Royal Bank of Scotland gets nationalized or gets taken over by the Bank of England. Bad news. I think the market really fell apart from there. Also, some Microsoft negative news during the week as well. A lot of bad economic news coming out. I think the market in general is waiting for him. They like what they see. He's definitely laying out his plan. He's telling you what it is, and I think that confidence is starting to trickle in. At least I don't feel as fearful as I did way back in September and then again in November.
Gary B., but they were on the trading floor. They were watching the inaugural speech. Oh, yeah. They were hearing about government.
Look, absolutely. Look, basically the market has done, I mean, the best thing is that it's moved sideways. But you would think, per Toby's point, that with all this money flowing in, and Pat made the same point, with all this money flowing in, people would say, oh my gosh, there's going to be jobs, there's going to be stimulus, and nothing but upside, and yet the market hasn't budged. So in this case, if it hasn't gone up, to me that's opposite of Eric's point. That's kind of a negative.
Pat, go ahead.
I just love it. 72 hours, and we're expecting the guy to work
miracles.
I
gave him 48. I gave him 72.
We're very short.
You're a kind and generous man.
He's a trader, remember, not an investor.
But in all seriousness, I mean, you know, it's a deep economic crisis right now. Unemployment is unquestionably headed higher. You know, we have serious issues in the financial system. You know, many of our banks are insolvent right now. It's a pretty darn big laundry list of problems, and I don't think anyone has the perfect answer for it.
That's word, Toby.
Well, look, Patrick has been a bear over the last 6 months, and he's been right about that. When Pat is a bear, it means that sort of the smart money is looking at us and say, I can't figure it out. And until the smart money can figure it out, you know, Joe Mary Sixpacker is saying, why should I get in front of that freight train? Maybe 7,500 is our bottom, as a trading bottom. But I think people are fearful for the right reason.
All right, well, mark that down, Pat. Toby called you smart money.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm framing the moment because I'm not expecting it to happen again.
All right, thanks, guys.